So, I'm going to share my essay that I wrote back in college about the question concerning technology. And this piece of work was written by Martin Heidegger, a German philosopher from the early 1900s. And I would like to share what I wrote on this essay because I feel like this perfectly explains the global warming deceit that's going on today. Heidegger, in the question concerning technology, peels back the layers of what technology is and what it could be if we do not take control of technology at its essence. Heidegger wrote this book 9 years after World War II, and World War II displayed the dangers of what technology can bring when not used for the right purposes. Heidegger makes clear on the first page that the essence of technology is not technical. It does not merely pertain to just the increase in more efficient innovations. Technology, as Heidegger defines it, is a means to an end or human activity, and with technology serving as a means to an end, it also proves its worth as an instrument. And instrumentality implies causality, which is a cause and effect relation. There are four causes of technology according to Heidegger. First, materialis, material in which it's made. Second, formalis, the form in which it is presented. Third, finalis, the end or purpose for it. Lastly, cause efficiens, which is the creator or manufacturer. Heidegger believes the four causes are connected, and it reveals the truth or veritas. And this truth brings to light the connection humans may have with the world and everything in it. And that is what he believes to be the essence of technology, which he defines as in framing or bringing forth. We either control technology at its essence and potential, or fall victim to technology and the destruction it may bring to the world, like globalization. Aside from the essay, Heidegger also thought that modern technology lets us isolate nature and treat it as a standing reserve, which is a resource to be stored for later utility. An example of this would be a hydroelectric plant, which isolates a river and transforms it into a power source. Now, truly follow me. God is not of imperfection, and neither are his creations. He created heaven and earth. He created us. He created nature. He does not create anything that cannot replenish itself. So what so like I said, global warming is their deceit to further gain control over you, like they did during 9/11 in the passing of the Patriot Act. They're after your God given rights, and they're after your independence. They have been talking about global warming since the 70s. They want to have full, and I mean full, control over you and what you do. Think about it. Why is China trying to create an artificial sun? Meteorologists went from calling this random person on the phone to get the weather each day to knowing what the weather is going to be weeks from now. Understand that this country is founded upon witchcraft. And three proponents of witchcraft is one, manipulation, which is what they're doing with this global warming hoax. The second one is intimidation. That is what they did with 9/11 to forever surveil what you're doing and where you are. And the end goal is domination. So understand that in a lot of these movies, if not every movie, they're spell casting, and in a lot of these movies they use something called residual magic. And so for the purpose of global warming, you have all of these weather apocalyptic movies, that they are foreshadowing what they want to do to you, which is control the weather and make it, rain, hurricane, make a tornado whenever they want it to happen. Now, through all of these movies coming out and all of these spells being casted, that intensifies their manifestation of accomplishing their end goal of being able to manipulate and control the weather. Now, this is one of the proponents of witchcraft, manipulation. So, in the movie, they lie to you, calling it a fictional movie or a sci fi movie or whatever. So, you'll dismiss it and think, this would never happen or couldn't happen. But in reality, it's something that they have the capabilities of doing. Please follow me. Please. In everything I'm about to say. Hopefully something clicks for you. I'm hoping it does. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Now, in 1993, our government in a small town out of Gakona, Alaska, funded a program that is a subdivisional program of the Air Force, with $100 million. And this program is called HARP. It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. And what HARP does, they test high altitude electronic technology to test the ionosphere, aka the firmament, aka northern lights, aka the aurora borealis. You see, the ionosphere plays a role in worldwide radio communication and surveillance, along with navigation and so many other things. On top of helping us with those things, the ionosphere being an electromagnetic field and the outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere, it protects us from harmful solar and cosmic radiation. The ionosphere replenishes itself like that of water when you dive into it. The ionosphere also acts as a mirror, and so you can transmit a signal and it'll bounce off the ionosphere, then bounce off the Earth. The dangers of messing with the ionosphere was perfectly documented in a document called Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, which was edited by Lieutenant Colonel David J. Dean of the United States Air Force with a foreword by Newton Gingrich. This was published in 1982, and it talked about using radio frequency radiation transmitters for disrupting human thinking, for basically debilitating the population invisibly by being able to bombard them with radio frequency that was tuned to just the right frequency in just the right waveform, so as to totally disrupt their mental process, basically leaving you debilitated. Messing with the ionosphere using high frequency can also damage the biomagnetic centers that migratory animals like salmon and birds depend on. And the main goal of HAARP, of these people who deal with HAARP, is to create enough frequency to superheat the ionosphere to get a runaway effect to the next stability. My fault. So the main goal is to create enough frequency to superheat the ionosphere to get a runaway effect to the next stabilizing level, which is the last protective firmament that'll ultimately destroy the earth and open a portal, which would then, in my opinion, create the rapture. So really think here. Think about what happened in Turkey. Think about what happened in Maui. Think about the wildfires that happened in California. Think about the wildfires that is going on in Canada. Think about the hurricane that happened here recently in Florida. Think about all of these current events. Now think about who really controls the weather. Or, in other words, manipulates the weather.
In space and in science. It lays the predicate and the foundation for a space communication satellite that will permit the people of the world to see one television program at the same time throughout the world. Think about that kind of communication, and think about the opportunity that will provide. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world. It lays the predicate for the steps that are necessary to send a man to the moon. It lays the steps that are necessary to provide a nuclear rocket that will produce benefits that are so unlimited that I couldn't tell you about them if I had all afternoon. But that's the kind of a world that you're living in.
Between all the nations in weather prediction and eventually in weather control, we shall propose finally a global systems of communication satellites linking the whole world in telegraph and telephone and radio and television. The day need not be far away when such a system will televise the proceedings of this body to every corner of the world for the benefit of peace.